Everybody, welcome back. It's business. I've been away for a little bit, a lot of technical issues, and unfortunately, I lost all of my damn replays because of the patch. I had the North Carolina and the Mogami overview ready to go. I just needed to record, and didn't happen, unfortunately, so got to play those ships again. Gonna do the overview on the Tier 8 Japanese cruiser, the Mogami. This has undergone a few changes recently, and I'll go for those in a moment. First, showing off the 155s, has a range of 18.1 kilometers. You'll see that the turret traverse, has been upped a little bit from 45 to 50 seconds. It is still affected by the captain's skills, which is precisely what the problem is with this ship and why it will remain unbalanced until the captain's skills and the way it affects this ship especially are addressed. The torpedoes are lethal as hell. They have a decent reload. I don't use the 2-point skill to reduce the reload on that by 10%. I just don't think it's worth it, but they have a 10 kilometer range as well. Just going over the final hull's AA defense here, which is at 48, given, again, the captain skills, which are now reflected in these stats as well with the new patch. So that's been a long time coming because nobody's really had any idea about, what the overall effects would be. With the rudder shift and the final hull, 5.7 second rudder shift time. I mean, that's just freaking ridiculous. And it's fast as hell, too. Can definitely get up to the 37 knot range without the flag. So that's pretty impressive. You do have 3 hull options on here. I can't say it's going to make that much of a difference because the third hull, you really don't have much range on your AA. You do have the rudder shift improvement. You have the FCS upgrade over here too, which is sorely needed for the ship, regardless of what cannons you're doing. So, but showing off the 203 millimeters, I can't use these, and they have no place with this ship at tier 8. It doesn't make sense when you have the option of the 155s, because if you look at that range, that's a 3 kilometer, just over 2 kilometer drop from the 155s. You can't compete with that. You need as much range as possible in order to be able to react in time to incoming volleys. I don't think this works very well. And the Ibuki, it has a 16.7 kilometer range with those 203s, which it doesn't sound like much, but that really makes a huge difference. So the captain skills here, of course, this increases the reload rate as well as the range of the secondary armaments, and that's actually, along with this, the advanced firing training, the 4-point skill, what makes the 155s overpowered. And without these two, the 155s are a joke. If you are not reaching to 18 kilometers with those things, in this ship, you're screwed. You need all that lead time to be able to soften that target up, because this ship has really minimal armor. You should find it pretty easy if you're shooting 8-inch or higher guns against this ship's side to citadel this thing all day. I mean, and you should be able to do it at pretty much your max range as well. It's just not difficult, and that's kind of the thing about the Japanese cruisers. You got to keep them moving, and still debating on which 5-point skill to get. Still trying to figure out. I think I'll go with the preventative maintenance, reducing the incapacitation of the modules by 34% is pretty damn spectacular, so I think I'll end up with that. Let's do some gameplay here and switch back to the 155s, because I'm not taking those 203s out just yet. I will in a moment, but yeah, I just want to give you an idea of how this plays with the 155s first. Alright, so first match is going to be on Hotspot, and have a lot of destroyers since the 4.1 patch. less carriers, more destroyers, and the problem is less carriers and more destroyers, so you're not going to spot them as frequently. Destroyers have become significantly more dangerous now, especially at the high tiers. If you get in a match, like say with some Shimikazes or Gearings on the enemy team, and there's no carriers on either side, that that is disaster. I've had a few matches, both won and lost, because of that fact. But taking a look at this sexy ship, this, unfortunately, the skin is done by Tans, who's no longer going to be making skins for at least a little while, which really sucks because he does some top-notch stuff, and I really wish that Wargaming would take notice of that and I don't know, hire him or something. It just give us something more than the crap camouflage and the rust buckets that we have in the game, because there's some really good looking models in the ship and they're just covered up by crap art direction in my opinion. But so engaging a Colorado over there, and there's an Aoba as well who's throwing some fire down my way. You'll see the damage totals there. It's amazing how much damage these cannons can actually do with HE, especially in their first salvo, since you'll get some diminishing returns. And actually you'll get quite a bit of diminishing returns. I mean, when you end up doing 7 hits for 858 damage with HE, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, they've probably been burning for a bit. You get a good nearly 7,000 damage salvo into the side of this Cleveland. I make a lot of mistakes here, and I'm capitalizing on this poor play by him to cover up my poor play. He should be using AP, and he's not, and I'm using AP with the 155s, hoping that I'll do some damage, and it doesn't happen. So what do? I switch over to the Aoba, as my teammates behind me are giving him some hell for that Cleveland. I'm concerned that torpedoes are coming, and I do almost 7,000 to him again. I did it with HE, and that was what pissed me off. I thought I switched to AP, and that would have, like, those 2 salvos would have killed that Aoba, no problem. But against the Cleveland, the AP doesn't work as well with the 155s. I've Citadel'd the Cleveland in an Omaha, but it just doesn't really happen that much with these particular cannons. I think they actually, I thought I remember reading something about some penetration values being adjusted for various ships. And again, you see the ridiculous damage from HE, almost 8,000 against the Colorado or the New Mexico. I forgot which it was. And then I opened up my flank to the New Orleans, which was rather unfortunate since I lost about 6,000-7,000 damage or health right there as well. So this is not going very well. I have about 85 hits, number of fires already, and you know, I'm in a bad spot. And the thing about this particular map is when there are a lot of destroyers, when you make that first contact with the enemy, all they're seeing is you and another battleship. They don't see the destroyers, so you get focused down a lot faster because of it. And so, you know, my Amagi here is just starting to move up. The Pensacola was behind the island, so I was the one taking all the fire, and I didn't take that into account, so that was a big part of that was my mistake. I really wish that they would balance these spawn points out a little better, because it's really stupid having that happen. You know, if you have 5 destroyers, I don't know, it just... I've seen games with more destroyers, and like actually, I think it was on here where it was, I think I was the only surface ship like that could be spotted over 10 kilometers away. I got nuked like right at the start. A very fast exit, and luckily the Yamagi takes out that New Orleans in one salvo. So good good shot right there. The Fletcher is the biggest threat on the team, the enemy team at the moment. And I feel bad because this Pensacola chases him and doesn't get much to show for it. But so I'm turning back around and again taking a look at the mini map. You could see that huge 18-kilometer range for this ship is just a massive sphere of influence for a cruiser to have with such rapid firing cannons, and they do still have a pretty decent shell velocity. It feels better than shooting the Cleveland, you know, at its max range. I mean, those things just hang up there like they're freaking kites. But really disappointed I missed that entire salvo. I get a bit of a lucky break here with the following engagements here, as far as where the attention is going. Obviously, the Mogami here is moved into a spot that it's not very favorable for him, having a battleship further off the left flank, Pensacola moving in, a New Mexico right in front of him. So I would personally move away in that situation, but he's angling towards them, and I'm moving up along the flank here, his flank, and keeping the fire on the New Mexico. And I'm anticipating the New Mexico to turn and drop me in one salvo, and that's basically right when I started shooting at him. That's exactly what I thought he would do. Try to get some shots down range on the Pensacola here, and that Fletcher has disappeared. I know he was just there's this big island to my left, and then the smaller one, and then the channel there. I know what's gonna happen, and I know what the Fletcher's planning, because I'm on his map the entire time, because you know he can, because I'm shooting at them, they have line of sight on me, so I'm already looking over there, anticipating torpedoes to come in, and still trying to get whatever damage I can on these guys. So, and again, I don't know why, but the New Mexico hasn't shot at me at all yet, and I switched targets over to the Colorado to try to give us a little bit more of that points buffer in case I die, because I'm still expecting them. They're not coming? Okay. Yeah, I'm really nervous at this point. I, like, just cringing right now. I'm like, oh, this damn turret, I wish I was at full speed just to get through this faster. But destroyer off in the distance. I've got the Pensacola over there. Just going to keep putting fire down range towards him, and I've got the New Mexico who is hugging the island there, and I know he's most likely going to turn around, especially with how close I am. That seems to be a very, very high probability of that happening. See him fire. I'm trying to time this, and I think you know what's going to happen here, but so luckily those torpedoes didn't come in until later than I expected, so I was already out of harm's way with that. But I'm trying to bring my tail around, and not for my guns but for my torps, because I know he's turning around now. And come on, just want to get these off before he kills me. Alright, do that offset pattern with the widespread, because again, I'm anticipating my death, so, you know, just gotta make sure I have the chance to do some damage, or you know, reach up from beyond the grave. So he's got his back two turrets pointing towards me, and now I'm in. Now the damn Sims is coming over. So boom, 2 torpedo hits. Sweet. I know the Fletcher's down here, so I'm gonna angle my ship that way and try to give this ship the least profile I can. And I just want to stop getting shot at this point. I'm getting really annoyed by this crap. So, I'm hanging on by a thread now, and For whatever reason, he doesn't shoot at me, and then take out a couple modules, and he's knocked out. Alright, well, I feel better now, right? Or at least I would if there wasn't a damn Fletcher still up. And it took me a second to actually realize I just launched that side, the torpedoes on the port side. And I'm expecting either gunfire from an invisible ship or torpedoes to come in. But he gets lit up over there, and unfortunately our Pensacola, he's been taking fire from this guy probably the whole time. Not a very enjoyable experience, I'm sure. And, he's relatively low on health. Only takes a couple hits there, but he does take out the Pensacola. That really sucks. I felt bad for the guy for chasing him around that whole time. But the good thing is that it gave the team a chance to operate without the Fletcher being involved. So it actually minimized the Fletcher's ability to impact this match. Although if you're looking at the timer and the position of everything, he could realistically win this in the 8 minutes that are left for him. And I expected him to kind of stay close to the island. But that doesn't turn out to be the case, and he goes for more open water. I think he probably had the Amagi in mind, like to get over the sea and try to take out the battleship at least. But where the hell does he pop in at? And this was taken yesterday, by the way, this match, and I don't remember it. Or actually, no, last night. That's even worse. I did have a good portion of a bottle of wine as well, so that'll kind of make my memory a little foggy, but he pops in, where is it, just about now, I think. And, yep, there he is. Alright, and you have to forgive me, this salvo, I thought he was actually turning away, not towards me, so that's why I have that particular lead. Sort of embarrassing. They just sailed right over him. So, corrected my lead. I see his pattern here. He's watching more of me and my shots coming in. And there we go. That'll take him out. Alright, and this I'm doing at 2.5 times speed because this whole situation was ridiculous. I ended up being over at the 8 line on north and covering the gap. So there was a Pensacola and a Tago. I got 2 Citadels on both of them with AP, and screwed up my ammo selection there. And, well, crap. I launched my torps, I hit the gearing, and then he appears right in front of me. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do at this point, because I don't have a lot of backup. At least nothing fast firing, nothing that's going to be able to help me against the gearing, as our destroyer moves off behind the island, and I don't know what the hell's happening with our cruiser over there. I launch another spread of torps, because I realized this is going to be a conveyor belt of enemies coming through here. There's their damn Benson, and I have HE loaded this time, luckily, taken down to about half health, and now there's a Cleveland. I had AP loaded, so I do almost 9,000 to him. I switch back over to HE, do a few thousand more, switch back and forth between AP and HE. He realizes he's not in a good spot and decides to finally get moving. If you're watching on the map, there's that Pensacola, by the way. They have a few more ships behind the that big island there, so I point that out on the map. And I just tried to get some sort of help over here, because I'm going to be the first one that dies, and there's nobody really here to challenge them if they decide to push. And I really want to be able to try to do as much damage as I can before they, at this point, I'm guessing, inevitably take me out. I get the Pensacola, and then the frickin' Des Moines pulls out along with a New Mexico as backup. So this is just not looking very good. He gets taken out by the Azumo, who has his second devastating strike in a row. And an Azumo of all things, right? The New Mexico hits me pretty hard a few times. I know this is a Montana, that's the lead ship, so I launch a set of torps there. And I'm bringing it around the other side. And this salvo, ooh, it hurts. Down to 339 health. I get a torp into him. My torp spread goes right towards that Montana, who takes me out. And then I get a couple dings right there. Ridiculous. Alright, and this actually turned out to be a hell of a match, and it's actually the last match that I've played before unlocking the Ibuki. It's on Hotspot again, which is, in my opinion, the best map for this ship. I think Islands of Ice can do pretty well too, but any place that has a lot of islands, it's cruiser heaven, but especially for this one. I do also want you to keep in mind the time and how long it takes for me to receive my first bit of damage, because it's actually, I think it's the longest considering all the combat that I was in, that I've experienced thus far. But chasing down a couple of Zumos here. There's an Atlanta that's breaking off down to the cap. We have a few ships on my part of the map here that my teammates that are definitely cause to keep them running. So I think we have one North Carolina and like a few cruisers. We're all a bunch of fire breathers basically, aside from the North Carolina. But just trying to throw some damage down there and hit that New Orleans as he's sort of incapacitated in terms of his forward speed. Switching targets over to the Atlanta because I just want to see if I can knock out a few modules of his. And sure enough, get a few of them right there. And he's engaging our Matsuki, unfortunately, which does net him a kill here in just a sec. But the best thing about this particular ship is a lot like the Cleveland and the Des Moines, where it's relentless and it's a long range, high rate of fire setup that can just make anybody's game really, really frustrating. And it's not about making their game frustrating, it's about making them frustrated to make mistakes and to do things that they don't want to do, but you're setting them on fire so damn much, or you're that mosquito that just keeps picking away at them and whatnot. And some sweet dodging there. Cut my engine and I pulled to the starboard side. Missed all of those. And I gotta say, I really feel for this dude because the Azumo is the next battleship I'll have, and I mean, I'm poor as hell right now. I need many tens of millions of credits to to get the next set of ships, but I am going to try out the Azumo. I'm not looking forward to it, but I think I can make it work. I mean, I'm hoping I can. But I know it's going to be an uphill battle with that ship. And I think it's ridiculous that it has 3 hulls, 2 researchable hulls. I think for that one especially, it should only be one upgrade hull and whatever else is needed for the fire control system and engines if it has that, which it does. I'm just saying in general. I do try to mark that destroyer so people are aware that he's in the field and I'm going straight towards him. I'm trying to cut off a potential escape route. I don't want anybody slipping by and causing more havoc later or preventing us from getting a win. It's not necessarily too bad an issue on domination mode, but for the standard battles and stuff, obviously you always have to think ahead and try to prevent a draw, just in case. Fires another salvo, and just short. And I'm about to get the kill here, as that salvo comes in at me as well. And nope, okay, that's cool. So nice little combo there, 31 hits. But now I've got their Batsuki in front of me, and I'm kind of surprised that he launched two of them like that, his full set of torps. And not only that, but he chose to get into the range that I could see him, instead of just doing the smoke first, launching the torpedoes, and take it from there. And that's okay though, because he's dead, so don't have to worry about that anymore.
Enemy destroyer sunk.
So I'm just trying to trim any of the fat on this video that I can, because it's the longest video I've uploaded. But there's a Cleveland down here, so certainly my streak of staying undamaged is gonna be broken here, right? But these two ships are certainly the most screwed up, I think, in the cruiser category, where as far as the balances and whatnot are concerned. Oh, by the way, I still didn't take damage. He knocked out two of my AA guns, but nothing has changed on my health, so yay. You see some sweet dodging here too, by the way. The Mogami has no reason to have the 203s. None. It doesn't fit in this game at all. You are in an incredibly fragile ship. You have no range with the 203s, and it doesn't sound like much of a difference, but when you're talking about whether or not you're in front of an island or behind it when you're taking the shot, it makes a huge difference. And I don't know how they can balance it out. And I mean, the Cleveland has some issues. It's way too powerful for tier 6. I can't imagine any reasonable argument against that. And the Mogami is, I wouldn't say it's too powerful at tier 8. I think it's where it should be, considering that it can get taken out so easily by literally any other ship that's out there. But it's a very fast ship, so if you've got somebody on the run, you're gonna have a hard time getting them, just like you would a Miyoko. They're just nimble and fast ships. So but I'm not gonna do a video on the 203s. I'm not gonna show you a damn bit of footage from me, because I'm never gonna use them. There's just no reason to. It's a huge gimp in my playstyle. It reduces the effectiveness of my overall play, and reduces my chance of being able to help my team win. I don't recommend them, and they can keep trying to nerf the 155s and all that. All it goes back to is the fact that I get 20% extra range on these guns from the 4-point captain skill, and I get faster reload from the 1-point captain skill. That's the problem, and it's not anything else. And I just not really sure what they should do, unless they exclude it from having the benefit of those two skills, and just set a hard cap. And I mean, one way or another, they've got to give those 203s 16 plus kilometer range, 16 and a half, 16.7. Make it like the Ibuki, because nobody likes the Ibuki either, so might as well have everybody get used to the slightly longer range of those 203s. Just going back to the match here, just trying to do as much as I can here, because I'm in a good spot, nobody's shooting at me, and I can help further influence the match. by staying where I am and continuing to fire upon these battleships and trying to. I swear to God, you do more damage against the USN battleships than you do the Japanese with HE. I swear, man. There's like some 9,000k salvos that I've done with the 155s, but I've only done those against like Colorados and North Carolinas, and with the most recent mini patch yesterday, now the Iowa hopefully has taken some damage again. So send some quick shots down to that Cleveland on the line. I'm figuring he's gonna stay there. Getting paranoid about the 10 hits, hell yeah, and Confederate. I'm getting paranoid about the destroyer that was up here. I think it's a Sims, and I'm just trying to cover my flank here just in case I get a surprise torpedo right in the butt, and I want to make sure that I at least put him in a spot where if he's in that area, he gets hit by them, or he has to maneuver, and one of my teammates can more easily take him out. So come to the end here, and we've got the Colorado right over here, and we found their carrier as well. So right as I fire, North Carolina takes them out. Alright, so just going to finish this matchup, and we don't find the destroyer, but this carrier, the Ranger that's heading backwards, I actually didn't even notice he was going backwards up until I watched it again in the replay. But get some good damage here. I end up with about 170,000 damage, and it's all strictly HE, which you'll almost never see me do, but I hardly had the chance to use AP. So anyways, the Mogami is a tale of two ships. It has the 203s, which are crap. I would say it's one of the worst cruisers that's available in the Japanese tree with the 203s equipped, and the 155s, when those are equipped, it is the second best behind the Zao. And I don't know what they intend to do on that, but for you, if you're debating on whether or not to get them, I wouldn't. Do not bother with the 203s. Just save your credits and your experience, put it towards the other stuff, and just move on to the Ibuki if you need to. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the really long video today, and I have a lot more coming up. It's just going to take some time. But either way, I'll see you guys here soon again. Take care.